Yogi clan, welcome back to Yogi Cycle Service. So you can see I'm at a state park. It's because it was a rough weekend and I got a lot in my mind. I stopped by here so maybe I could do a little bit of thinking, a little bit of praying, and just kind of a little venting. So I'm not sure if I'm going to post this video or not. Yeah, I still do motorcycle stuff here. I'm just using this to kind of do some yogi stuff. It was a rough weekend. It really was. About 9 years ago, my wife and I adopted a daughter with epilepsy. Over the years, she's changed some medication and things have worked. Some have worked better than others. This weekend, she had 2 major seizures, which really scared my wife and I. The thing about being an adoptive parent, I always get asked the question, Yogi, can you ever love a kid that's adopted like you love a kid that's biological? And my answer has always been absolutely, for reasons like I'm about to tell you. So this young lady was going with a friend somewhere, and she no longer lives with us. She was going with a friend somewhere this past Friday. I'm not sure where they were going. When they were heading out to the car, and she had a massive seizure and fell and smacked her head and smacked her hip in the middle of the seizure as she went down. Panicked, her friend called 911 and an ambulance came and took her to the hospital. It was about lunchtime. So I got a phone call from my wife that she was taken to the hospital. So after discussing what both of us were doing at the current time, we decided it was best for me to go to the hospital and be with her. And I did. She woke up from her first seizure. She was awake when I got there. Was just physically worn out, because if you don't know much about epilepsy, when you have a major seizure like that, it sucks all the life out of you. So we talked, and one of the reasons why she had the seizure is because she hasn't been taking her medicine for a while. Problem number 1. So as a result of not taking her medicine, a trigger for her is sunlight. And I can tell when she's getting ready to she has minor seizures, petite mal seizures, I guess they call them. When you walk out in the sunlight and your eyes kind of flutter up, you look up towards the sky and your eyes flutter, those are little minor seizures. And she used to have those very frequently, to the point where, we had to make sure she wore sunglasses every time she went out of the house so she wouldn't have those seizures. Now with medicine, it does certainly help that, but it never eliminated that. So I guess she went out into the sunshine. When she went into the sunshine, she didn't have any medicine in her system for, I don't know what period of time. The story I get from her versus the story I get from the pharmacy are 2 very drastic, different stories. Just leave it at that. So she doesn't have any medicine in her system, goes outside, sees that sunshine, checked out. Out she goes. So when I go to visit her in the hospital, we had to have a conversation about how vital it is that you take your medicine and how important it is that you're taking your medicine regularly, because this is the 3rd time in the past 12 months that I think she's either underdosed or overdosed. So my question to you, Yogi clan, is because some of you may be like me, not quite spring chickens anymore, and maybe you're dealing with a parent or a grandparent that the faculties may be here, but maybe they're just not really able to care for themselves. How do you care for somebody that basically refuses care? At what point do you draw the line and say, you can't manage this anymore, you need help? And when you've said that numerous times, at what point do you actually do that and draw the line and step in, whether it's assuming guardianship or whatever you do you make that call to say, you're done. You're done living alone. You're done trying to do this by yourself because it's not working the way it's going. And that's my question to you. And if you know any answers or have any insight, man, the comments below would help me greatly. When I got to the hospital, we talked, because I was probably there for about 3 hours before she was discharged. And we talked, and I said, you need help. The nurse came in and said, sweetie, you need help. You have to take your medicine. If you don't take your medicine, one of these seizures one of these days is probably going to wind up killing you. You have to be consistent about taking your medicine. And that's the problem, is with her, the lack of consistency. So finally I got her to understand, yes, Dad, I do need help. I need help. I need help. And she admitted it. So now I'm feeling like I accomplished something. I feel like, all right, the first steps are made. Let's figure out a plan, how we're going to get her some help. You know, what programs are out there to help her be able to get back up on her feet. Maybe she needs to come home for a little bit and get back up on her feet, you know. How can we set her up for success? As we're walking out of the hospital, I mean, as soon as we came out from under the canopy of the emergency room, the sunlight hit her face. I didn't have a pair of sunglasses to give her. All of a sudden, her eyes are fluttering again. Oh, crap. Because she doesn't have still, even though they gave her medicine, it hasn't really fully, you know, it's not in her system yet. So I put out my arm, I take her arm, I'm like, honey, look down at the ground, look down at the ground. Stare at the floor, don't look up. She's doing her best, but, you know, her walking, she's losing her balance, you know, it's not looking good. And it's only probably 40 yards to my truck. So I get her to the truck, open the door, she gets in, I'm rooting around looking for a pair of sunglasses to give her. I hop back up in the truck, I don't have an extra pair, the only I have is this pair and it's prescription. So I'm thinking, okay, what can I do for her for sunglasses? I'm like, just, you know, let's put the visor down, let's look down, honey. So I'm thinking, you know, she hasn't eaten all day. I have a Coke in the back. Let me give her a Coke, maybe a little sugar or something will help her. So I give her a Coke. She puts her seatbelt on, pops the top of the Coke, and all of a sudden she turns and is doing that, looking over her shoulder. I'm like, where's this girl looking? What is she doing? And all of a sudden I see her hand go like this on the can of Coke. I'm thinking, oh gosh, not again. I grab the Coke out of her hand, put it in the cup holder. All of a sudden she goes rigid, like straight up rigid, and the look on her face, it looked like something out of like Poltergeist, and she was being possessed, and the sounds she was making, it scared the snot out of me. And let me tell you, we didn't even pull out of the parking space. So this is going down. I'm like, oh crap. I put it in drive right over straight to the front door, hop out of my truck, run inside. I'm like, I need help, she's having a seizure in the car. And the lady's like, what? Can you put a little fire in the caboose? Come on, people, let's go. She's like, okay, well, I'll get her a wheelchair. I'm like, no, she's unconscious in my car having a seizure. You need a stretcher. So they get a stretcher, bring a stretcher out. I undo the seatbelt, lift her up, turn around, put her on the stretcher, right back in the front door we went. I still had, so now with the hospital, they do searches, no more weapons in the hospital. And then they give you a sticker that tells you what room you're in. So I go in and I still have this number on my shirt because I had gone and parked the car, and now I'm back to go find out where the heck she is. And the one guy's like, oh, she's in room number 1, but you can't go there. You're wearing a 7. I'm like, that's the room we just checked out of. I need to go to room number 1. So they get me to room number 1. She's out now. She's still out. When she wakes to and looks at me, it takes about 10-15 minutes for her to like get herself back together to where the brain re-engages. And she looks at me, she goes, oh, Dad, thanks for coming to the hospital to see me, because she knew she was at the hospital at this point in time. Like, thanks for coming to see you. I've been with you for the past 4.5 hours. Do you think I just arrived here? Is what I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, thank you for coming to see you, sweetie. Don't you remember? We've already been here. We checked you out, walked back to my truck, and you had another seizure, honey. She's like, no, I don't remember that. Well, what is the last thing you remember? Being in my apartment this morning. I'm like, oh. All that work we had done for her to digest and to finally realize and to break down and to admit, I need help. Gone. So now I got to start all the good work that the nurse put into her, the social worker put into her, the doctor put into her, the staff put into her, all that work. Gone. And it's gone. And now I'm thinking, I can't do this again. I can't go through all of this again, because what if this doesn't stick? So they wound up keeping her overnight. And she was discharged Saturday. It was really a tough weekend. It really was a tough weekend. And really, I struggle to, when you have children who you think just are not independent. And you know, adopting so many kids, adopting 11 and having 4 biological kids, there have been a good group of them that have left the house and become independent. Now, some are a little bit more independent than others, but there are a few who, in my opinion, will never be independent. And this child with epilepsy is right on the border. She's been independent, if you can call it that, for a year now, but it's not working. And you know, when your health is in jeopardy and when your health is at the line, I guess that's where the line in the sand is. If you being independent is a detriment to your health and well-being and your safety, then that's when you need help. If you are able to maintain your health as an independent living, then okay. If you are a subscriber here or watching this video and you care for a parent or a grandparent or are in a situation where you know you need to care for that person and that person refuses, how do you force that? What do you do? What are your options? Because I genuinely am concerned for her health and well-being, and I'm afraid that if she can't get her medicine down and take it the way it's supposed to be, and we've set up things to help. We now have a pharmacy that delivers the medicine so she doesn't have to worry about taking an Uber to go pick it up. They are now pre-packaging it into an AM dose and a PM dose. So we're doing everything in our power to try to make it easy as possible, but I still have reservations where that's actually going to work. You know, this MC Monday series is about to come to an end. And I was thinking of doing like a short little mini series, like just call it like Yogi drama. And for those of you who are subscribers and maybe interested in, you know, what makes Yogi tick and what's Yogi all about, I'm thinking of like a Yogi drama Monday. I gotta figure out a good name. Manic Monday. Drama. But see, D, drama, MC, Monday. That's my rant for today. I just don't know what to do. And honestly, it really breaks my heart. So I thought on the way home from work today, I'd stop at this park where a beautiful lake going on in the background. I don't know if you can see it. Beautiful lake going on in the background. And just try to maybe sit here and open up my heart to the Lord and pray to Him and God guide my steps. Guide my direction, because Lord, I don't know what to do. And Father, I am just so worn out. I'm so frustrated. I'm heartbroken. And Lord, I just ask you to show me a way. Show me a path that I can guide her down. Soften her heart to know that she needs help. Soften her heart to know that it's her life, that pride of wanting to be independent is getting in the way of personal health and personal safety, Lord. I just ask you to guide us and give us help, Lord. Give us strength, give us help, give us direction, give us patience, give us perseverance. And Father, I just pray for her safety. And I pray that the decisions she makes are wise ones. And I just pray over her heart. In your Son's name I pray. Amen.